Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I am going to teach you about Mauryan dynasty, which is the most important part in ancient history. So Mauryan dynasty, the time period of Mauryan dynasty is 322 BC to 185 BC. This video is beneficial for all the aspirants who are preparing for UPSC, APPSC, Staff Selection Commission and other competitive exams. Surely you will get at least one question in your exam. Let's get into the video. So before going into Mauryan dynasty, let's discuss about pre-Mauryan period. So this comes after Vedic period. After Vedic period, you will get post-Vedic period, and after post-Vedic period, you will get pre-Mauryan period. So as we have studied in our post-Vedic period about Buddhists and Jains. So in their literature, they mentioned about 16 Mahajanapadas. So these are the small kingdoms. So among these 16 kingdoms, Vatsa, Avanti, Kosala and Magadha, these are the major kingdoms that survived. So after certain time, these three kingdoms, Vatsa, Avanti and Kosala, they merged and formed Magadha, which is the largest kingdom. About Magadha dynasty, the founder of Magadha dynasty was Bimbisara. Later it was taken up by Ajatasattu, and Udayan was the last ruler of Magadha dynasty. So what happened after this Magadha dynasty? Saisunga dynasty came, and then Nanda dynasty. So these are all the dynasties regarding pre-Mauryan empire. So in Nanda dynasty, the two major kings are Mahapadmananda, he is the founder of Nanda dynasty, and Dhanananda. And one more important thing, in the pre-Mauryan period, Alexander's invasion of India takes place. Alexander, who is a Greek ruler, he came to India. He started his invasion to win the world. So he came to India during this time period. Next, literary sources that gives a brief idea about Mauryan administration or Mauryan dynasty. So Kautilya's Arthashastra. So what is this Kautilya's Arthashastra? It was a book written by Kautilya. So this book explains about the political administration of Mauryan dynasty. Next, Visakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa and Megasthenes Indica. So Megasthenes was the Greek ambassador who visited Mauryan empire and then settled there. So he wrote in his book Indica. So apart from these books, the Puranas and the Buddhist literature such as Jatakas, they also provide information about Mauryan kings and Mauryan rule. And archaeological sources. So edicts of Ashoka. What are edicts? Ashoka was the first ruler who started to build edicts and stupas. What he did was, he built a stupa and he engraved regarding his kingdom, his rules, his victories in that edicts. So this gives the information about Mauryan dynasty. Next, 13th Rock Edict, it gives the details about his war with Kalinga. So 13th Rock Edict, it gives the details of Kalinga war fought by the great Ashoka. Next, the Pillar Edict 7, it gives the summary of his efforts to promote Dhamma within his kingdom. So what is Dhamma? It is the bunch of principles of Buddhism. So first ruler was the Chandragupta Maurya. This is his time period 320 BC to 298 BC. So at the age of 25, as we have seen here, the last kingdom was Nanda dynasty. So Chandragupta Maurya at the age of 25, he captured Pataliputra from the last ruler of Nanda dynasty. So he captured the kingdom Pataliputra by killing last ruler of Nanda dynasty. So who helped him during this time? So Kautilya, who was also known as Chanukya or Vishnugupta. Here you can see his image. So with the help of Kautilya, Chandragupta Maurya started Mauryan dynasty after killing last Nanda ruler. So Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus Nicator, who was a Greek ruler. and Megasthenes was sent to Mauryan court as Greek ambassador. Next, Chandragupta, he embraced Jainism. He went to Shravanabelagola, which is also known as Makkah of Jains. So this Shravanabelagola, it is present in Karnataka, and starved himself to death. So he ruled during this time period, and at the end he embraced Jainism. He followed Jainism and he became Jain, and he went to Shravanabelagola and he died there. Next, Bindusara. He was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. He was also known as Amitragatha, which means slayer of enemies. So the Sangam literature, it also confirms the Mauryan invasion of far south. So what is this Sangam literature? So this Sangam literature is the combination of the present day Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka. So the Sangam literature is the combination of Pallavas and other rulers. So therefore it can be said that Mauryan Empire under Bindusara extended up to Mysore, which is present in Karnataka. Next, Bindusara appointed his son Ashoka as the governor of Ujjain. Ashoka the Great. The most important event of Ashoka's reign was his victorious war with Kalinga. Kalinga war was fought by Ashoka, and he became victorious after that war. Rock Edict 13. So what this Rock Edict says is 150,000 were killed and many times that number perished. So during this Kalinga war, almost 150,000 people were killed. And after seeing this great devastation, Ashoka, he embraced Buddhism under the influence of Buddhist monk Upagupta, and he became the follower of Buddhism. The extent of Ashoka's empire. Here you can see the map, how far the Ashoka's empire has expanded. This is the boundary of Ashoka's empire. Here you can see major cities like Taxila, Indraprastha, Sarnath, Pataliputra, Gaya, Ujjain, Sanchi, Kalinga. And the boundary states are ruled by Chola kings, Kerala Putras, Pandya rulers and Pallavas. So Cholas, Pandyas, Satyaputras, Kerala Putras as border states. And these combines the Sangam rule. The Kashmir was a part of Mauryan Empire. Nepal was also within Mauryan Empire. Next, Ashoka and Buddhism. So after Kalinga war, he embraced Buddhism. So about 261 BC, Ashoka became a Sakya Upasaka. So after he embraced Buddhism, he became Sakya Upasaka, which means a lay disciple who just preaches Gautam Buddha. And 2.5 years later, so after 2.5 years, he became a monk. That means he lived all his joyness, enjoyments and everything. He became a beggar. Then he gave up hunting, visited Bodh Gaya and organized missions, worked for the progress of Dhamma, means the principles of Buddhism. And in 241 BC, he visited the birthplace of Buddha, the Lumbini garden near Kapilavastu. And he also visited the holy place of Buddhism like Sarnath, Sravasti and Kushinagara. Next, he sent a mission to Sri Lanka under his son Mahendra and daughter Sangamitra, who planted there the branch of the original Bodhi tree. So Ashoka not only embraced Buddhism, he also worked for the progress of Buddhism not only in India but also in other countries like Sri Lanka and other Asian countries. Next, Ashoka convened the third Buddhist council at Pataliputra in 240 BC to order the strength of Sangha. Sangha means the Buddhist monks. The group of Buddhist monks is called Sangha. So to promote the unity among those people, so he convened the third Buddhist council in Pataliputra. Next, Ashoka's Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma is somewhat different if you compare with the principles of Buddhism. So what it depicts is, it was a way of life, a code of conduct and a set of principles to be adopted and practiced by the people at large. So this Ashoka's Dhamma was practiced by large people. And what are the features of Ashoka's Dhamma? Service to father and mother, practice of ahimsa, So one should have to do service to his father and mother, and practice of non-violence, and love of truth, reverence to teachers, and good treatment of relatives. That means respect to teachers and good treatment of your neighbors. Next, prohibition of animal sacrifices and festive gatherings, and avoiding expensive and meaningless ceremonies and rituals. Efficient organization of administration in the direction of social welfare. So administration that always work for the progress of social welfare, and maintenance of constant contact with the people through system of Dhammayatras. So with this system, he always maintain the contact with the people and know about their troubles and problems. Next, humane treatment of servants, treating servants as normal humans, and by masters, and prisoners by government officials. And after Ashoka, the later Mauryas are, so Ashoka died in 232 BC. The last Mauryan king was Brihadrata. So he was assassinated by Pushyamitra Sangha. From there on, Sunga dynasty started. Regarding Mauryan administration, the Council of Ministers. So Mauryan administration, it is similar to Indian administration. Here you can find the Council of Ministers called Mantri Parishad. In India we have Council of Ministers, assisted the king in administrative. So these Council of Ministers, they help the king in administrative rule. So who are those Council of Ministers? Purohita, Mahamantri, Senapati, Yuvaraja. Amatyas. Who are Amatyas? So they are IAS officers to look after day-to-day administration. Like how we have IAS officers. During Mauryan period, they have Amatyas. Next, Samharta. So his role is to collect all revenues. Next, Senapati. He is the commander of army. And for Mauryan Empire, they are having nearly 6 lakh infantry, that means 6 lakh soldiers, 30,000 cavalry, 9,000 elephants, and 8,000 chariots. So one of the largest army of ancient period. Next, it has judicial and police departments to maintain law and order in the empire, and they conduct census by municipal officials. About Mauryan art and architecture. So Mauryans were the first to use the stone, not bricks. So he was the first to use the stone, started from time of Ashoka, and majority of them were destroyed during foreign invasions. Pillars. The Sarnath pillar is the most famous one. Here you can see Sarnath pillar. Above it you can find a lion. Next, stupas. The only remaining stupa during Mauryan period was Sanchi stupa. And caves. So they built caves for the residence of monks. So what will be the biggest reason for the decline of such a great empire? So the below are the reasons. So decline to Ashoka's policies and his weak successors. So after his Ashoka's death, so there is the decline in the implement of policies and weak successors. Next, Ashoka's Buddhist policies. They are antagonized the Brahmins. As you know, Brahmins is also one religion. So Ashoka's pro-Buddhist policies. That means these policies that favor Buddhists. So it caused anger on the Brahmins. So who brought about a revolution? So these Brahmins, they brought revolution, and that led by Pushyamitra Sangha. Next, partition of empire and administrative reforms. And some facts that we should remember of Mauryan Empire. The Chandragupta Maurya was responsible for the political unification of North India for the first time. Next, Bindusara was known as Amitragata. Ashoka was known as Devanampriya Priyadarshi, the beautiful one who was the beloved of gods. The meaning is this one. Next, Buddhist tradition says Ashoka killed 19 of his brothers to capture the throne. So it was a tradition in Buddhism, but it was not true. Next, Ashokan inscriptions were written in Kharoshti and Brahmi scripts. Ashoka fought the Kalinga War in 261 BC that was present modern Orissa. Next, Ashoka inscriptions were deciphered by James Prinsep. In his Kalinga edict, he mentions all men are as my children. Next, Tanika in Mauryan administration refers to tax collector. So tax collector is referred as Tanikas. Friends, all these facts are important for exam point of view. You can get direct question from this topic. So coming to quiz. So consider the following statements. Ashoka was appointed as Viceroy of Ujjain by Bindusara. Yes, Ashoka was the son of Bindusara and he was appointed as Viceroy of Ujjain. First one is right. Next, Chanakya served as a minister of Bindusara. As this one also right. Chanakya not only served as minister to Chandragupta Maurya but also as minister to Bindusara. Next, Chandragupta Maurya was succeeded by Bindusara. Yes, it was right. So first one Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka, and the last one Brihadrata. So all the three options are correct. Next question. Consider the following statements. Ashoka became a Jain after Kalinga War. It was false. He became a Buddhist. Next, Ashoka conducted Dharma Yatras. Right? Ashoka sent missions to Sri Lanka and Western Asia. It was also right. So the answer is only 2 and 3. Next, who became Jain? Chandragupta Maurya, he converted to Jain. Next, who among the following assassinated the last Mauryan king Brihadrata? Pushyamitra Sunga, Vasudeva, Bhadrabahu, Kanishka. The answer is A. Pushyamitra Sunga. With the help of Brahmins. Next, the monk who influenced Ashoka to embrace Buddhism was Vishnugupta, Upagupta, Brahmagupta, Brihadrata. Answer is B. Upagupta. Next one, who in ancient India assumed the title Amitragata? Ajatasatru, Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka. Answer is Bindusara. Next, Kautilya's Ardhashastra is book on economic relations, principle and practice of statecraft, foreign policy, duties of king. It deals with the principles and practice of statecraft. Next one, who among the following also had the name of Devanampriya Priyadarshi? Mauryan king Ashoka, Gautam Buddha, Mauryan king Chandragupta Maurya, Bhagwan Mahavira. The answer is A. Mauryan king Ashoka. Devanama Priyadarshi means it is a belower of gods. A Buddhist council during the reign of Ashoka was held at Magadha, Pataliputra, Samastipur, Rajagriha. The answer is B. Pataliputra. Next, who deciphered the Brahmi inscription of Ashoka for first time? James Prinsep. It was the answer. Next one, who of the following was contemporary of Alexander the Great? Bimbisara, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, Pushyamitra Sangha. Answer is B. Chandragupta Maurya. Friends, that's all about Mauryan Empire. In my next video, I'll discuss about Gupta Empire. Friends, if you find my video useful for you, please subscribe to my channel Yuvataram Education and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well.